Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now I know I always say that I'm excited to show you something pretty much every time I start a video. I'm a very excitable person, but for this particular piece it could not be any more true. For many months now, my son's birth stats have been cut out in vinyl and just waiting for a shadow box idea to come to my mind that would be worthy of displaying in his room. I've just been having the biggest creative blocks and looking at so many different things that might work, but nothing has ever felt right until I went on Pinterest and just started looking up paper art. That's where I saw shadow boxes that kind of look like this. But I knew I wanted to design my own, so I gave it a go. I've never made anything quite like this before, and my skills on iPads with drawing are very minimal. So I'm going to show you how I made this. This is a time lapse of my work in an app called Fresco by Adobe. It is very simple to use. I found I could navigate my way around it fairly easy. As you can see, it's way sped up because I was there for quite a while trying to work everything out, especially the layers. I think I have my head around them now, but I still need a lot more practice. As you can see, my son helped me color that in just a little bit. We had some extra squiggles in there. And so basically what I did was create a whole bunch of layers, and all of these colors are the different pieces of paper that are going to be cut out. I had originally planned on doing it shades of purple, and then I thought, no, shades of blue would look really good. And then I ended up settling on shades of orange and red. Totally different, but they're my son's favorite colors. So I thought, while he's little and it's his favorite, I'm going to make something that just really suits him. So this is what it looks like when it was all cut out. I did forget to take video of my machine cutting it out, which is a bit of a bummer, but I think I was just so overwhelmed with the fact that I had drawn something and managed to get my Cricut to cut it out instead of, me purchasing an SVG and having it cut someone else's work out. It was just really fascinating seeing the lines that I drew, the wobbly markings that I had made being cut by my machine. It was just a cool experience. So what I'm doing here is super simple. I am just using some kids craft foam that I grabbed from Spotlight. It's super cheap and comes in big packets with multiple colors. And what I'm doing is just lining the back of this piece of cardstock. This one has the most amount of cardstock left. It's not quite a full frame like the other ones. I think the amount of foam that I used for this layer was probably overkill. I didn't need this much. But this is the first time I've ever made one of these before. So it's definitely a learning experience for me. So next time I definitely won't use this much foam, and I'll probably use it to help layer the other layers instead. So what I'm doing is just cutting well around those areas so that you can't see the foam through any of the holes. Did you enjoy that, watching me struggle, working out how to line things up, having a moment? And what I used to adhere this layer was PVA glue. Now, like I said, I'm learning, and this was most definitely a mistake. I don't like using PVA glue in large amounts because it does warp cardstock quite a lot, especially if you're only using one layer. And even though I did try to lie it under some heavy things to flatten it out, it really didn't work. It did still warp it just a little bit, and you can only just see it in the final product. But like I said, this is for our house. I'm not selling this one or passing it on as a gift. It's just going to be in our house. So it's okay for me to learn these things on the stuff that I'm keeping. Now, I couldn't make something space themed without my favorite little Lawn Fawn space stamps. These Out of This World stamps were the first stamp set that I ever purchased from Lawn Fawn, and I always use them for things with my little boy. Even just last week I made him his 4th birthday card with these stamps. They're just so cute. I love the little planets, and the little astronaut is just adorable. So here I am doing some no-line colouring. I used the Jellyfish ink by Lawn Fawn. I would really like to get my hands on the other inks that they have designed for this no-line colouring, because this one is really grey. I really want the one that is that brown tone instead for warm colouring in like this. But for now, it really did the job. I'm pretty sure a little while ago when I did attempt no-line colouring for the first time that I had sworn off it and to never do it again because it is really tricky. And all of your mistakes are exposed. You can't just hide your messy colouring up against a nice bold black line. But I'm glad I gave this one a go again because it really suited the rest of the shadow box. There was no other black within the shadow box, And I was worried that if I had these big bold lines that Lawn Fawn has for their stamps, which is truly one of the reasons why I love them, that it would look too cartoony and maybe too comic-like and wouldn't fit against the background, having the bold lines, then the white outlines around them as well. I just feel like it wouldn't match very well for this one. If I had used a black layer in it, then at least I could match them together. But because I hadn't, I thought maybe that no line colouring for this one was the way to go. And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to swear I'm never going to do this again. Although I would love to make another one of these shadow boxes. I think an ocean themed one would be really nice. And then of course, no line colouring would probably look fantastic for that as well. So I'm just going to show you how I coloured these ones in. I used just oranges and yellows for this and a few of my skin tone Copic markers. After cutting out all those images, it was then time to get layering. Ignore that yellow paper that I just covered up. This frame is a temporary frame for this one because I've run out of shadow boxes. I thought I had some more. But this one had my Disney Coco ears in it. So I'm going to have to put them back when I buy a new frame for this design. So as you can see, this is the layer that was quite warped. And it's okay because it's going to be one of the lower layers. You only really see the very outer edge of that inner squiggly bit. You don't see much other than that. If this was one of the top pieces though, that would have not looked very good. So it's definitely something I need to keep in mind for next time. So what I'm doing here is just adding some itty bitty stars in the Libra constellation. I think that is correct, which is my sun's star sign. I thought I wanted little stars in here somewhere. I was going to use my watercolor pigments, but I was so excited to get this whole thing together that I actually forgot to put them in before adding the planets and the astronaut, and then I was worried that if I went in and did it afterwards, I'd cover them all in dots, and I really didn't want that. So I thought these little stars would be enough. So I'm just using the piece that I cut them out of to make sure they're lined up properly. And as you can see, I also drew some little clouds because I felt like the layers needed to be broken up with just a few more things. It was then time to add all the other layers and all my little images and watch my work all come together. Once all my pieces were glued down, it was then time to see how they would fit in a frame. In doing this, I realized that my layers all together weren't quite thick enough to fill out the whole frame. So if I make more of these, I'll probably do them maybe 7 layers instead of the 5, so that they fill the whole thing up. But like I've said a few times in this video, this is just learning, and it was so much fun. I already can't wait to make more of these in different colors and with different themes. I'm going to show you a couple of photos now of it all framed up and looking amazing. I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I'd love to know what you think in the comments. If you would like me to do tutorials on how I drew it in Adobe Fresco, let me know and I'll work on something like that very soon. I hope you enjoy the pictures. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more of my work. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!